What a weekend again of Premier League football. You're back in the country, so Arsenal are back to winning ways, still on top of the table. All is good. Can they stay there till the start of the World Cup?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so, Kels. It'll be good. I thought they dealt with Forest really well. Forest coming off of the Liverpool result, they're probably a bit buoyed by that. But then I thought they ran out of steam half-time and before half-time, personally. And by then, Arsenal were in their groove. They couldn't keep Arsenal off of them. And that's what I liked about Arsenal. They recognised what they needed to do and they done it. So that's what I was pleased about.
Chelsea next weekend, that's going to be an interesting one. We will talk more about that. Alongside our Premier League Hall of Famer, we have a newly inducted WSL Hall of Famer and Julien Laurent, who's still waiting for the call.
yeah, I'm available.
It's been a good week, Karen.
Yeah, it was a massive honour. So, yeah, I didn't really know too much about it and then got given it. And just, I love the WSL. We're trying to push it as much as we can. So, huge honour. I'm really grateful.
You're one of the first women in, aren't you?
There's 6 of us now. So, there was 3 last year and 3 this year. So, yeah, pretty special group.
Yeah, very special group. And it has been a really good weekend. As we said, Chelsea have got Arsenal next weekend. And if they're going to get anything from that game, there's one player that Chelsea really need to be on form. Really interesting. We started off by hearing from Raheem Sterling, who's not been scoring goals for Chelsea, but has been played in a position where he's not necessarily going to get the opportunities to do that. Gabriel Jesus, similarly for Arsenal, not been scoring goals, but is he less of a concern maybe than Sterling is?
I think only because the rest of the guys are chipping in. I think that one of the things you want more as a striker is if you're not scoring, at least the rest of the team's scoring and you're still contributing something, which he's doing. You know what? If I was playing that game, Kills, once it gets to 2-3-0, I'll kind of like abandon my coming out of the box and linking up play. I'm tell you honestly, I don't do that no more. I leave it out there for Dennis or whoever it is because I want to make sure I'm scoring. I want us to be scoring 3 and 4 and 5, and I'm not on the score sheet. When you look at Jesus and you look at the amount of work he's doing outside the box, he has got the energy to get in there. But then even on Saturday, he had 2 very good chances, which I think that a player of that calibre, he should have taken them because it was all in his hands, and he didn't. So that's a little bit of a worry because people are constantly talking about, well, he's not a natural finisher. Started the season on fire, and then we're seeing a couple of misses now. Now everybody's starting to say, well, we told you so. But talking about somebody who does contribute a lot, he will score goals, and as long as the team's scoring, you can't. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and if you're getting your shots on target, eventually something's going to go in. You can't kind of be on that cold streak, if you like, for that long for Gabriel Jesus. But there's also, we need to factor in the fact that he started so brilliantly. He's going to be targeted by the opposition as well.
Yeah, the teams now work out what Arsenal are doing, what areas it goes into, but I'm not overly concerned because he's getting in the areas, and I think for me, I love how he presses, I love how he sets the tone, how he sets the intensity, and he goes into areas, and the Xhaka can get further forward, then other people can get further forward, and it's about the team, and I know every striker wants to be scoring goals, but he'll come good. It's just a little bit of a blip. It's a long season. You can't constantly be doing that. So I'm not concerned. I think it's class, and I think it's been an unbelievable signing. Yeah,
it's been no goals in the last 7 games, but that doesn't mean no impression on the matches.
No, you're right. 2 assists against Forest, for example. I found him quite tired against Southampton, for example. Even the PSV game before that. Yeah. I didn't find him tired at all against Forest. And Forest were not very good. But I think as long as he participates, and yes, sometimes I would rather him not defend too much. There's a time in the first half where he recovered the ball in his own box and gave away a corner, by the way. Yeah. But that's part of his game, and I think Arteta likes that, and he leads by example. So I'm with the guys too here.
A player there might be a bit of a worry about in a different sense is Bukayo Saka, who came off injured. In that match, and not just for Arsenal, but England fans will be looking quite nervously at that for everyone's favourite inflatable unicorn jockey.
The thing is, because again, you look at Arsenal and people are already saying about he should be rested, he should have been rested by now. It was an awkward fall what he had, just opened his knee up, and the sign is always, Kaz, what you'll see in that is when someone's coming off, how angry they are, or how despondent they are, and we saw with Varane how he was. Saka came off with a little bit more of an anger, like he was really disappointed with it. He looked really vexed about it because I think that if Emile Smith-Rowe was fit, maybe he would have got more of a break or a rest. And the same with El Neni. If El Neni was fit, we just haven't got the depth, and we still haven't put teams away enough in the Europa League, to be able to say, OK, we're going to rest him. We have to play him still. Whereas you thought he probably would have rested against Zurich. But I think that he tried that one, and it's just, he's so dangerous now. He's getting fouled a lot. He's getting a lot of bodies around him. So you always worry about him. But it is a worry, simply because we're not a million miles away from the World Cup. But more importantly, he's in good form, and that's what Arsenal need at the moment.
You know what it was, right? When he was coming off injured, you see how many of the Arsenal players went up to him.
Over.
You're right. You're right. What's
exactly.
going on? You're right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the World Cup. It was like he's our star player.
Yeah.
That's a big sign for me when everyone goes over and like, you're all right. You're going to be fit for the next game. Like, you know, is it all right? And I think that's telling.
Yeah, it's quite worrying. It's a little bit of a worry because you never know. Hopefully, it's just a little obvious one. But like you know, like I say, he wasn't really angry. Like, oh no, it's not happening. So fingers crossed, it's not a bad one.
Yeah, because he has been in fantastic form for Arsenal.
Yeah, and the cross for the Martinelli goal, for example, is just inch perfect, and it's a long one too, by the way, because Martinelli is the one giving him the ball, playing it wide. I just think he's been kicked a lot. The Southampton game was a disappointing game from Arsenal point of view. But they went hard on him and Jesus. And I think this is normal because he's so good and you target him as the main threat from Arsenal, or one of the main threat. But he gets kicked a lot. And to be fair, I think this was coming too.
So Arsenal are leading the way at the top of the Premier League. Action changes so quickly, though. If we were doing this last week, we'd have been saying they've had really good results under Graham Potter. He's getting so much right. But it could change again next week because they've got Arsenal. It's a huge game next weekend. You asked Raheem Sterling about it. Did Chelsea hold any major problems for Arsenal, do you think?
What, you mean next week in the game coming? Well, yeah, because you have to respect the players they've got, and he's got the players.
You don't have to speak as a manager, it's OK.
No, I'm not speaking as a manager. I'm just trying to speak with my sensible head on what I would do if I'm Graham Potter now, because you have to stop that bleeding quickly, and you want to show the fans, especially at home, Kels, that, OK, I'm going to make it solid, I'm going to get us playing well so as we can put pressure on the Arsenal side that start very well, but maybe they fade. So you want to keep them at bay, and then you go from in the second half. So he's got the players to be able to do that, you know, in respects of Chilwell, maybe Aspilicueta, make it more solid, Jorginho, Kovacic, whoever he's going to play them out. But he's got the players. So why it's still a tough game for Arsenal is because if Chelsea change that, and then they're playing in a London derby at home, then Arsenal are going to be properly tested. But if they don't, and then Arsenal will beat them. They'll beat them. Yeah,
it's a real opportunity to kind of get the crowd grumbling, because there have been murmurs from that Chelsea crowd. They're not quite settled under this new era Chelsea under Graham Potter. Just if Arsenal go ahead, as you say, in that game, or even put Chelsea under serious pressure, it could start to feel quite nervy there.
Yeah, I mean, they're a crowd that's used to winning. And I think you're right, they've had that shift. But I think Wrighty, you know, hits a nail on the head. He's got to have... Chelsea always have strong foundations. They're always difficult to beat when they were in their strong period. For me, they look like they could be scoring, you know, they could have been 2-0 down after about 2 minutes the other day. They've got to get the base right. You've got to pick your best. If you're going to go with the 5, pick your best 5. Don't be too clever, too smart. This is Arsenal, top team in form. They're going to pull you around. Have your foundation strong. You've got a good bench, and pick it off then. But I think... Go back to basics, defend right, defend properly, and then you can't do it against an Arsenal. They will pull you to pieces if you defend like that.
It's a bit of a puzzle as well, because Brighton were good defensively. They struggled to score, which is why they got more draws than maybe they should have done over the seasons under Graham Potter. And so this sort of defensive experimentation feels quite strange. Yeah, it does.
To be fair, there's no Koulibaly. I think that injury really hurt them. No Fofana from a longer time, and no Reece James either, which I think... makes you have to tinker a little bit if you're Potter. However, Aspilicueta was on the bench, Chilwell was on the bench. You could easily have put Thiago Silva, Cucurella, Aspilicueta. There was enough defenders still before playing Pulisic and Sterling as the right and left.
You could
wing
play
backs.
One, but not both.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you could have one as an attacking wing back and then took round.
Yeah,
two
completely.
And
a hybrid back 4, back 3 if you want. Which again, I'm very surprised that Potter went with that formation and that system in that game against Brighton when he knew they would be under pressure. He knew they would press them high. And your wing-backs as well help you massively in your build-up structure to beat the press. But not with Pulisic and Sterling. That's not what they do.
And we're joined now by Raheem Sterling, who's at Chelsea's training ground. Raheem, thanks so much for giving up your time for us today. We've just seen your goals so far this season, and we do want to talk more about you and how things are going for you, but we need to reflect on the result of the weekend first of all. Couple of days on, how's everyone feeling?
Like anything, really disappointed. I think as a collective, we know it wasn't an acceptable performance. There's no way we should be getting beaten by that scoreline. And it's one that we need to act on. You know, we need to be a collective. It's still early in the season, and build from here.
Have you been a bit surprised by it? Because everything seemed to be going well under Graham Potter.
Yeah, like anything, you know, the manager has been putting his touch on the team, and we've been learning from him, and you know, trying to get to how he wants us to work. And you know, when you're trying new things, we've not a lot of time. You know, sometimes these things can happen, and the more we have with him, the more we can be on the training pitch and see how he wants to work, and is the better it'll be.
He's doing a lot more defensive stuff, Raheem. Is that something you're looking forward to doing, having to do that back work as well? Because I'm not used to seeing you that far back some of the times.
Yeah, it's like anything, as I said. You've come to a new team. There's different things going to be asked of you. It's a completely different shape. But I haven't played in a back five for a while. But it's something the manager's asked me to do. Something that I'm more than happy to do as well. We've got the ball. I'm high and wide. And of course, you have to defend as well. That's part of the game. But the more, of course, I'm next to the box, the better for myself. But the more time I have and to figure it out in this position, I'm more than happy to play it.
Because as you say, you've been happy to play wing back. You're happy to play up front. But you even at that stage said you're more comfortable being out on the wing. Have you talked a bit about, you know, the progression, the opportunities that you're going to have in that favourite position of yours?
Yeah, of course. I feel my best position is a winger, that's for sure. But like anything, you know, the manager has his way of playing, and it's anything. He's not had a full pre-season with us, I should say. You know, he was dropped in the middle of a storm, really. He's come in, and I think he's grabbed it with both hands, and you know, he's trying to figure out the best personnel for positions, and I'm sure, as I keep saying, with time, it will all gel nicely.
So back in London, Raheem, how's it been back in London? Because you've been up north for a long time now, back in London. How's it going? How's it settling? How are you finding it? How's everything at the club, everything?
No, to be fair, it's been a pleasant time so far, actually. Really nice. I just keep getting asked questions like, yeah, you just get on the M25. I'm like, what's that? But yeah, there's, you know, still finding my way around the city and knowing certain things. Like anything, as you said, I've been gone for a long time and, you know, don't really know London as much, but enjoying my time back in London.
And it's right, you said, you know, you were at Liverpool and at Manchester City. You were kind of part of teams that were the strike force at Liverpool with Suarez and Sturridge. And then you've got the Scousers in the team like Gerrard and Carragher. But then you go to City, it's a team full of superstars. Is there a chance at Chelsea for you to kind of, maybe you won't say this, but be the main man?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the main man. It's a collective thing. As I said, there's been early parts of the season that I was, you know, happy with my performances, and so far I've been nowhere near the level that I need to be. But I'm for sure that time will pass. It's not something that, you know, I'm panicky or stressed about. It's part of the game. We're in good positions. We qualified for the Champions League. We're in, you know, a decent position in the table. It could be better, but there will be. I'm for sure that time will pass. It's not something that, you know, I'm panicky or stressed about. It's part of the game. We're in good positions. We qualified for the Champions League. We're in, you know, a decent position in the table. It could be better, but there will be better performances from myself in the near future.
Raz, I got to ask you, because obviously Arsenal coming up in a week. I was praying that there was truth in the talk about you maybe coming, but it didn't happen. But at the same time, I was going to say about
you can ask him what they're saying.
The game, yeah. See, I got so sidetracked by thinking of him in a red kit. But the game coming up next week, Arsenal at the moment. What's it like? What are you lot saying about Arsenal at the minute? Seeing them top and everything. What's the talk in the dressing room like about Arsenal?
Yeah, like everyone in the public can see. They've had a great start to the season. Been playing some beautiful stuff, and they're a team that they've been building for a few years now, and that's what we're looking to do, is to keep building. And it's a game that I think will be a really interesting one. They're a possession dominant team, and so we are ourselves. So I do think it'll be a good match.
But it's a team you always score against.
It's a team that I always score against, and
Always.
it's a team that hopefully I can break this duck against. So nah, I'm joking, but it's one that is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting game for sure. The way they're playing, they're playing some beautiful stuff. Mikel's got them playing some free-flowing football. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's the particular problem that Arsenal pose, and obviously that's your absolute focus, right? You think that everybody's just thinking about Arsenal all the time. Dinamo Zagreb before then for Chelsea as well. But look, Raheem, as you say, you've got to start the season with one manager. You've got Graham Potter coming in without having had the pre-season, trying to hit the ground. The fixtures are coming so thick and fast in this run-up to the World Cup. Does it feel like this break can be it's kind of about where you go into the break in terms of league position, the performances, and just carrying that through so you can start well again in January or late December?
Yeah, exactly as you said, and I said before, the manager came in, at a difficult period. I think we had one win in Champions League, and we just built on some good performances, got straight through on some performances as well. Like anything, these things take time. I didn't come here, with just this season in mind. I came here on the vision that the club had, and I'm really focused in on that vision and know that we will get there.
I wanted to talk to you about one of my favourite Raheem Sterling goals. Is the one against Southampton, that right of the death. Which one? Do you remember the one when you came from the right and then you played a 1-2 with Kevin De Bruyne and you curled it in? That is my favourite Raheem Sterling goal. That's the one. And then your celebration was like really intense and yes, bro.
Really excited.
What's your favourite goal, Raheem? What's your favourite goal?
No, to be fair, that is up there for sure.
Was it the significance?
I think that. Yeah, I think the significance. I think there's that one there, and then I would say my goal for Liverpool again.
What's your favourite goal, Raheem? What's your favourite goal?
No, to be fair, that is up there for sure.
Was it the significance?
I think that. Yeah, I think the significance. I think there's that one there, and then I would say my goal for Liverpool against City as well. That was another. When you talk about like feeling inside, that was a big feeling, a nice feeling, I should say. So yeah.
And hopefully plenty more of them to come across the rest of the season. Raheem, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Raheem.
Thank you very much.
No worries, Ben.
Complete 27 goals along the way, significant wins for City and Spurs and Brighton. Palace getting one as well, another big one for Newcastle. Leeds, their first one in over 21 years at Anfield. Another defeat for Liverpool, that is 4 for this season now. And then today, we brought you Manchester United beating West Ham by 1-0. We will bring you the thoughts of Eric Ten Hag once he emerges from the dressing room as well. And earlier on, of course, we saw Arsenal go back to the top of the Premier League with a 5-star show at home to the bottom club, Nottingham Forest. Just one goal in the first half. They really turned it on in the second, though, right?
Yeah, they did, Stephen. It's really good to see, simply because we know that Forest were going to come there, and with all due respect to Forest, we should be beating Forest. I didn't think we was going to beat them by 5, but we started very well. We put them under pressure very early. We got the early goal, and then we kind of ran away with it. It was very impressive, because they're in a place now, the Arsenal team, where they're up there. This is unfortunate in that respect to lose Saka, but they're up there now, and they're playing like a team that, yes, Forest are coming there, and we have to beat Forest, and they've done it. And bam, business as usual. Really good, delighted.
So Reece Nelson appears in the Premier League going for the first time in a year. And what a second half, 2 minutes he had there.
You know what, it's such a shame to see Saka go off, but obviously sometimes as a young player you need to take a chance when it comes your way, even if it's unfortunate. Reece Nelson did that. Fantastic. Played out down right-hand side. Ødegaard and Gabriel Jesus setting him up there, and he's in the box. He's in there. If you want to play an Arsenal's front three, you need some numbers. That means goals, that means assists. You got 2 today. I think in the Premier League before, you only had 1 before that. And this Partey, edge of the box, the weight of the pass from Reece Nelson is perfect. A bit of composure in that set. And Wrighty, that's a great finish.
Well, it's a great finish. It's becoming his party piece. But like I say, I'm pleased for Reece because he's somebody that's had a lot of patience waiting for his chance at Arsenal. You know, like Owen said, hopefully, you know, Saka's okay, but to see Reece coming on and making such an impression with the manager, having faith, with a lot of people saying Reece's time there is done and maybe they should sell him. He's stayed. He shows that he can contribute. And now it's up to him to try and be consistent enough to stay in and around that squad because they're going to need everybody they can get Arsenal. The depth is what's going to cause Arsenal problems and scoring goals. So if you can get people like Reece coming in and scoring goals, Martin Odegaard chipping in, Partey, then it takes a little bit more pressure off of Jesus, who at the moment ain't scored for a while.
So Arsenal back on top of the table and their biggest win at the Emirates in the Premier League under Mikel Arteta. Go then, Arsenal fans, 31 points after 12 games. Look at the teams that have had that or more in the past. Only Newcastle, famously, under Kevin Keegan in 95-96, have not gone on to finish top of the table.
Yeah, but not
Come
many.
on, Righty, don't give it away now.
But not many of them have had to chase down Manchester City.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You party pooper.
But that is it's tough. It's going to be tough, you know. But like, what I'm pleased about is the progression of the team, and they're doing what they need to do with the next game. Today was a game where they had to win it. We know that Forest were able to beat Liverpool, but at the same time, it's the kind of game that Arsenal had to win, and they had to win it in a way that made people see we're serious about being here. You know, top 4 was the goal, and that is what the, Arsenal fans will be thinking about. But we're going to enjoy the ride. People trying to take away the joy from the fact that Arsenal are top. We're top, man, and it's a beautiful thing. But at the same time, we're not getting carried away because we know there's a long part of the season to go with the World Cup break. So, you know, it's just nice at the moment. Don't take away the joy from the people, man.
I tell you what,
party poopers,
right,
man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, people are going to be carried away after they saw that graphic there.
What do you think?
Everybody on the
but
was
man,
first at this point
I didn't want to see that graphic.
Exactly.
It's going to add more pressure.
It's winning the league, and the only one that's famous is that Newcastle one, which was one of the most famous in history.
They threw away a 10-point lead, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, but you know what? I think Arsenal earned the right to be in that position. They've been fantastic. For me, they've been the best team in the Premier League so far. And we're talking about one of the greatest teams we've ever seen in the Premier League with the Man City. So credit to them. 12 games in. They look the real deal. Can they sustain it over 38, Righty?
That's the question. That's what we'll see.
We will, and that's what we'll look forward to. So Arsenal, top of the table.